my friend, it's Pat Sloan here, and it is the end of Grandma's Kitchen for the most part. You have all 25 blocks. You have had the setting since December when you did the supply list, and I've been doing mine as I went along. So I have everything up on the wall there. There we go. Let me do a little close-up. Well, not close-up, a little back. Far away, actually, from the end of the room with the other camera. And the top's all done. I like how that one turned out. The bottom one looks kind of dark in the picture, but there's also dark here, there's dark over here, there's dark here, so in there. So I think it balances out, and actually in person it doesn't feel quite as dark, but it is together. There. I'm loving it. It's much more colorful than version number 1, which was done in very pale fabrics that we're going to look at. Here it is. We're going to look at it here in a minute. So it is very exciting to have this one done. It has been so tremendous to hear your stories, because I think that's one of the best parts about making quilts, is when there's something about them that creates a story, and it might be because it's who you're giving it to. It might be like Grandma's Kitchen, where the actual pattern has prompts and things that bring the story about. And you know, that's the way it works. Stories do. You just don't know how they're going to develop. For some of you, I think it was just, you know, you just made the blocks. You didn't really think too much about it, but many others of you did. And I know several people have mentioned that they were documenting this, not only on the first time, but the new people on this time, that they were documenting each block with their story, maybe for their grandchildren or for their children to pass down later, so that your story is documented for your family. Because each time we talked about things is something that brought up a lot of memories. Now, I have, like I've said all along, this is the second time we've done this, because it has been a lot of years, and a large part of my community here at YouTube and at Facebook are people that were not with me back then. And so I wanted to do it again and just see how involved you were, and it ended up being just marvelous. So I want to show you the first one and talk a little bit about it. And you can see them. I'll put it up on the stand here, and then I'll probably go like on the other side of the room. You won't be able to see the full thing. Unless I don't know, I might be able to put it out on the clothesline if it doesn't start raining. Fingers crossed. But we'll do it inside first, and I'll see what's going on. But first we have to get the quilt. I've got to get the original Grandma's Kitchen, and there it is. I'd already hunted for it, so I knew where it was. And these are all much more in color order after I did a bunch of that reorging lately, so I can find things a lot easier. So I'm going to get this one so we can talk about it. So I have it here. Before I hang it up. And it is, look, see, it is very light. You can just see right from here that the coloration is so much different. Very, very light fabrics. I did have a couple darker pieces. Whoops, a couple darker pieces in here. So I'm going to put it up. Here you can see both of them. The very pale pinks and pale grays and very pale greens of the first one. And then there's a bit more vibrant and juicy colors in what we're doing here, what I was doing here in 2025. The interesting thing I did for the first one, what year did I do that? Hold on. The first one was hosted during 2017, and I finished it a bit after that, a couple years after that, like basically when the binding got on it was a bit later. But I did it as Quilt as you go, and I did a whole bunch of, you know, sort of tutorials about Quilt as you go. And there's lots of different methods for Quilt as you go, meaning you're quilting in segments. And so I did a bunch of different quilting styles on the blocks for this one, and I want to show you with the other camera so that you can see it. Let's do that. How I did the Quilt As You Go was in rows. So I didn't want to do single blocks because that's just a heck of a lot more seams on the back to cover. So what you do is you make like a little mini quilt, like a table runner. You do the whole row and then you sew like table runner to table runner. And then on the back, of course, you have a seam allowance that would have a whole bunch of stuff. And it looks like I did 2 sections together. So I did these 2 sections together. And then here is how it's covered with a piece. So under here is the seam allowance, which, you know, has also the batting in it, that kind of a thing. And there's different quilting. So I did some sort of echo quilting. I did like a bullseye round and round for that one. Did cross hatching, did verticals. Here we were outlining the stars. And I was doing all of this with my walking foot. And that was my goal rather than free motion. This was all with the walking foot. More cross hatches. Here, you know, outlining to get that, you know, triangle effect. Lots of cross hatching. But here's another one where just going and splitting the units. So, and then here, you know, you pick a point and you go from point to center on all of them, and then outlining the star on the inner part. And there's lots of things like that through here, but there's a little bit of a wave, which you just kind of find some sort of stitch on your machine that can do that. Like down here again, did that vertical, the same thing. Here is a lot of sort of banking of following shape. And I did do some tutorials about this over on the project page. I'll link to it. It's like, I like this one, where I went from the center out. So lots, and here's one here too, from the center of that point out, just kind of like a burst, which is so fun. And this was all with my walking foot, so I did not do free motion on this at all. Now the back, because I did Quilt As You Go, I used this floral that I had for a very long time, and so I was really happy to be able to use it, and I thought it really suited the front of the quilt. And these are the sections that are covered. So I only had to do like 1 and then 2. So for Quilt As You Go, I had like 3 long pieces. So it was made into thirds, and then they were just like wide, like, you know, wide quilt across like that. And that made it a lot easier to handle. I didn't have a lot to sort of figure out and futz around with. And it turned out really nice. Well, it has started. I can't take it out. It started to rain. So I just get to enjoy the 2 of them here behind me, so you can see the 2 colorations. I'll eventually give one of them away, and it might be I think I'm going to keep the first one, and I think the one that we've done for this year I will give to charity. Either that, or maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll give it to a niece or something. I can't decide whether I want to do that or not, because I didn't really tell a story of anybody that they know that well. They didn't ever know the one great grandma. It would be great grandmas for them. They didn't know the one at all, really, and the other they did know for a little while, but they were pretty young. So I don't know. I might just do the one from this year to charity, and so we'll see. But now I have the fabric bin, and I want to go through that right now and just sort it into what I want to keep and what I will move on to new homes, to the local charity groups with the guild, where they sew things, and I give them stuff. Because the reason I just don't want the bins hanging around, and I don't need all of these fabrics. I don't need to keep all of these fabrics. So the one big thing with the purples is I might keep most of the purple, because I do not own a lot of purple, and so that means it's kind of tougher to do things when I want to look for purple, because I just don't own a lot of purple. It's like, how does that happen? You don't own a lot of purple. But I think, okay, so let's look here. This is the background, and if that is all there is, I will check. If that is all there is, I will just move it on, because it's not enough for me to do anything with. And then all the purples, I think I'm going to keep, no matter what size they are. I think I will keep them all. Here's some scraps. I'm just going to put those in the scrap bin. Oh, do you want to see the my scrap bag? I actually did a little video of it when I was working the other day. I keep these Ziploc bags and these giant Wonder clips. 2 of them seems to work really good. I can stuff this, it doesn't fall off, and that bag then I'm going to call this one done, because this week I'm going to see my local sewing group and I will take it, and there's usually somebody that will take it to their bee or to the charity group. There's people who like to get the scraps. So that one is ready to go off to a new home. So that is a place where I would put things like this. I might keep the 2.5-inch squares in my 2.5-inch square baskets, but the others I'll just move them on. So I think, okay, so I think the purples, I just need to sort of tidy them up. And then here is some other small pieces of white and white on whites and stuff like that. Okay, so the purples we're going to keep. Then we'll go through, and now I do not need gray. I have tons of gray, so the gray will move on. The green I might keep. This is a very useful shade for me, and I have enough pieces there. So the yellows, these yellows I will move on. They're kind of not a shade that I normally work with. They're a little too citrusy maybe. And then the aquas, I have to see, like, if they're small pieces. I'm going to keep this one, and all of them that I have that there's enough. I'll keep this one with these medallions, because those work out really well for different things. And I will move on anything that's the large print. So these like kind of large scale prints with multiple colors. If I'm not working with this particular fabric line, and it isn't a print that I'm like super like in how my brain works, like it might be a super useful multiple print, but a lot of them aren't. They're like more like they're just for the collection, and so I let those go. And then I'll look at what else. Like this isn't a, this is one that if I have another, like if I have 2, pick one of them. They're very similar in the colors that they give, and so I'll keep one, let the other one go, that kind of a thing. So I will just go through the rest of this. If there's anything interesting, so here's the gray that has that image, and I want to keep that one because that image is really useful. For the whites, that like I have to decide, like here's the one that's got that's really useful, so I will keep that. And the others are kind of small. The stripe, I'll keep the stripe, keep all the stripes. But I think the rest of them will go to the charity group. And then, let me see, let me get the rest of these out here, and I'll clear that basket out. So it is the end of June, and I will have no video tomorrow because I am on a reduced video schedule due to helping my mom. Later this month, the 28th, whatever day that is my wedding anniversary. Greg always cracks me up because it's the bride's wedding. Our wedding anniversary. So we will be celebrating with my mom. Yay! So that'll be sort of fun. And next time I'll have videos is the first Wednesday in July, and I will just have videos on Wednesday for July and August while I'm helping my mom, and then my mom is visiting, like I talked about. So there you go. And if you have, did I say this yet? I don't think so. If you have a windjammer, it's Windjammer Day. So if you have a quilt with a sailboat on it of some sort, share that in the Quilt Along with Pat Sloan group. And if you have your top done for Grandma's Kitchen, share that as well. I will not be able to have a quilt parade because obviously I've taped all of the July videos, but maybe I might put a call out in August sometime. I just can't promise that. It just depends on what's going on. So, but go to the group and enjoy the quilts that everybody's done. All right, my friend, I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.